When you grow up with an emotionally immature parent, you learn pretty quickly that being honest about your feelings can be problematic. Your parent doesn't outright say you can't have feelings, but the way they respond, it seems that way. You say you're hurt, disappointed, uncomfortable, or that you disagree with something, and all of a sudden you're dealing with their anger, defensiveness, guilt tripping, or hurt feelings. You begin to think twice about saying what you really feel. Maybe you tell your mother, that really hurt me, expecting her to care that she hurt you. And instead, you're met with, everything hurts your feelings, you're just too dramatic and too sensitive. You say, I'm angry about what happened, and all of a sudden you're disrespectful. You say, I don't like that. And you hear, yes, you do. You're just saying that to upset me. The conversation stops being about your feelings and it becomes about what's wrong with you for having them. You learn that expressing a preference can cause conflict. Maybe you don't like something the parent cooked, an outfit they suggest in a store. You don't want to attend an event, or you simply disagree with their opinion. Instead of being able to say, that's not my thing, you are accused of being ungrateful, selfish, difficult, or argumentative. So you begin figuring out which version of yourself is easiest for the parent to deal with. It's not necessarily that you're lying, but you're constantly editing yourself. You become very careful about how you communicate. You start thinking about the other person's mood before opening your mouth. You rehearse conversations in your head, soften everything you say. You apologize before you've ever said anything, and add a dozen explanations in hopes that the person won't misunderstand you. Some people become emotionally silent. They stop bringing their feelings to their parents because they've learned nothing good comes from it. If you're always dismissed when you're upset, eventually you're going to stop saying you're upset. Silence can start feeling safer than honesty. And this doesn't necessarily disappear when you become an adult. You carry that pattern into friendships, relationships, and even with your own children. You may have trouble telling someone that they hurt you because you expect them to become angry or defensive. You might automatically say it's fine when it isn't. You might feel guilty disappointing someone, even when you know you haven't done anything wrong. You can become so focused on managing other people's reactions that you lose touch with what you actually think and feel. There is a big difference between teaching a child emotional regulation and punishing them for having feelings. A healthy parent can say, I understand that you're angry, but you can't scream at me like that. Or, I understand you're disappointed, but the answer is still no. The child's feelings aren't being rejected. The parent is putting a boundary around the child's behavior. An emotionally immature parent often makes the child's actual feeling the problem. You're ungrateful, you're disrespectful, you always make everything about you. This is why punishing a child for emotional honesty can be so damaging. They don't just learn to avoid arguments with their parents. They learn that their authentic emotional experience is a threat to relationships. They learn to monitor, edit, suppress, and sometimes completely abandon their own feelings in order to keep other people comfortable. Healing from this can involve learning something that should have been taught from the beginning. You can be honest about how you feel without being responsible for someone else's reaction to your honesty. Have a good day.